Alright guys, welcome back to Allcarnews, and today we are here with this 2023 Mazda 3 Turbo Hatchback, and let me tell you something, this thing is a beast. So with this all-new Mazda 3 Turbo Hatchback, I've been living with this for a week now, and honestly, it's been pretty hard to make content with it because I've been enjoying living with this thing so much. I love driving it. I love just parking it and standing back and checking out how it looks because it just is awesome, especially in the soul red crystal metallic paint. So, is it worth it? And what kind of car is the Mazda 3 Turbo Hatchback? What kind of segment does it fit in? Is it a premium luxury hatchback? Is it a hot hatch? Or is it a little bit of a blend of both? We are going to dive into that today, and I'm going to show you why I think this is one of the most underlooked and underappreciated cars on the market right now. Okay guys, we are here with the Mazda 3 Turbo Hatchback in the Premium Plus package and in this beautiful soul red crystal metallic paint right here. This car truly is gorgeous to look at. Now, there are two ways to enter it. Of course, you can use the key fob or you can just grab the door handle and open it up. It does have keyless access, but let's just unlock it right now so you guys can see all the lights light up. And I want to just dive into this design because it is one of my favorite cars on the road in terms of design, at least. Mazda really knocked it out of the ballpark with their Kodo design language, and it's meant to be this really sculpted and kind of crafted body shape without having a whole bunch of hard, annoying lines that kind of ruin the whole experience. And you can really see that on the side of the vehicle with this, there's a lot of sculpture going on in the doors and this really awesome C-pillar back there that kind of swoops around and into the rear fenders, which is just incredible. Now, unfortunately, it does come at a cost of poor rear visibility, but it does look stunning. Some people don't like it and they prefer the sedan look, but I am obsessed with this and I've loved this ever since it came out around 3 to 4 years ago. Now, outside, since it is the hatchback, we do get black trim everywhere except for the windows, of course. And up front, we're going to get the additional air dam you can see down there, which really kind of gives us more of an aggressive look. And it does actually throw air more into the engine for a little bit additional cooling, and it just looks so cool up front as well. And you can see the black side skirts on the bottom, as well as your black mirrors with the integrated LED lights there. And you also get this really big gloss black rear wing on the top that actually you can see is vented through there, and it is a little annoying sometimes when it's pouring. Rain gets kind of collected up there and will just shoot all over the rear hatch, but thankfully you do have a rear wiper to kind of correct that, of course. Out back, you can see dual exhaust tips. Looks really, really beautiful as well. And I love these 3D sculpted rear lights that Mazda is doing on the hatchback as well. They look really premium. That's a big theme here. The whole car feels really premium. Even the font is tiny, but like really bold font. I think it looks really nice. And you can open the hatch, of course, right under here. Now, the only issue with the hatch is storage is really not that big in here. Even on the sedan, it's kind of small. You know, a high load entry height, I think, to get in as well. And it's a little deep, and you do get a spare as well under there. So space is limited, unfortunately, in the hatchback. Also, if you look under here, you do have your subwoofer right there as well. Bose audio system is actually pretty nice in these, and you can fold the seats down if you need them to kind of get more space, which you might have to do. Obviously, this is not going to be a power hatch, which is not something you would find in this segment anyways. But yeah, the design, at least on this car, I think is one of its really, really strong aspects. And this soul red crystal metallic paint really does show it off even better. Shows off the body lines really well. And there's a lot of different colors you can get that will also do that. But I just think it looks fantastic. The doors, you can see these really slim door handles. Now, these are on the newer Mazda products. The CX-5 doesn't get these yet. And they are touch capacitive. So let me just lock the car really quick. So I've just put my hand to it. It will unlock the vehicle. It's like that. And you can lock it by touching that little button right there, which is really nice. This one doesn't have folding side mirrors, which is unusual. I feel like that should be an option on these, or at least be standard on this one, but it does not have it. So what do you guys think about the design of the Mazda 3 Turbo Hatchback? Because I think it's gorgeous. Okay guys, getting into the Mazda 3 Hatchback, I want to start out with the rear space first. Like I said, I'm just going to unlock it by grabbing the door handle right here, and all the door handles should unlock. That's awesome. Now, the rear space is where you're going to have some issues. Now, the Mazda 3 platform is kind of small for these smaller 3 vehicles. Now, of course, the CX-30 and CX-50 are also on this platform, and they get much more space. But the hatchback and the sedan are very tiny. Now, this is my driving position. You can see right there, and it's tight. It's really, really tight. I guess shorter drivers will have it will grace their passengers with some more room, but it's definitely tight in there. And headroom is limited with the sloping roof line, and it is very dark in there as well because of this giant C-pillar. So let's hop inside for you guys. because it is freezing outside. Oh boy. Yeah, here you can see the limited space. My knees are up into the seats right there. Now, thankfully, there are these cutouts for that, but you do have some foot space down there, and the carpeting is really plush and soft. I do actually really like that. It feels very premium. No heated rear seats. You have this just flat panel, no vents at all either. But even this feels very solid and well built. Lots of carpeting down here for this big hump. It does have all-wheel drive, of course. And on the passenger side, you are getting a little bit of a flap. And I like how the entire seat back is also leather wrapped. It feels very nice as well. And the build quality here is just impeccable. Mazda has really knocked it out of the ballpark on that aspect. But for rear passengers, it's very dark back here. It's very cramped. So if you're a little claustrophobic, you might not like this space. Fold this down, you do get cup holders in the center console, and like I said, the seats do fold down if you need that as well. The seats are really nice actually though. They're perforated, even though there's no ventilation or heating back here, but they do feel very, very nice. And headroom is terrible. We're not going to look at that, but we do have a little bit of a sunroof right there for your driver and passenger up front. And just check out this awesome front space. Now, unfortunately, there is not, we don't have the cool red or white interiors, but the black one is very classy, very business-like, but I would love to have had the red one to show you guys that, because it really is beautiful. And we did already have the white one with this Turbo 3 sedan, and that was a fabulous looking interior as well. So let's hop up into the front space, and I'll guys give you another tour of this. We have talked about this before in the sedan, but it's always a nice time spending in the Mazda 3. Okay guys, let's hop into the front of the Mazda 3. Again, opening the door is pretty simple, and I love this interior. I really have been obsessed with it ever since I was in the Turbo 3 sedan, and I still love it here. I think it's even better here. I don't know why. I think I just like the design of this better. It feels better personally. Anyways, let's just talk about what we have here. So we have a premium Bose audio system, and Mazda gives you these really nice metal speaker grills, a really premium feature. And I already have ranted a whole bunch on about Mazda's switchgear, how it feels really nice and upscale compared to its competitors. So I do love that. You do see the leather on the door as well with this really nice, I think it's brown or red contrast stitching. It's really interesting. It's really nice aluminum trim over here. It's just really cool. And then again, the door materials are very nice and premium. Even the plastic down here feel very solid and don't feel cheap and flimsy. You can see you have some space for a water bottle as well, and a little bit extra storage. And then we'll just hop inside to give you guys a better look. Now these seats are heated up front, and you do have your power adjustments on the side with lumbar support as well, which is really nice. And I do love these seats. They really do hug the driver really, really well. But I can understand if you are a little bit of a bigger person, it might be difficult to fit in them comfortably. Really solid door thunk as well. Love that on Mazdas. And we can just get a better look of this beautiful interior. So guys, we are in the Mazda 3 Turbo Hatchback, and check out this space. Now, like I said, it's a little bit boring in here with all the black, but I do still think it's a really fantastic interior space. Starting up your Mazda 3, of course, it is push to start. I love this little animation they give you right there and up there. Unfortunately, this will beep like 1,000 times before the seatbelt, which is really annoying, but you have to live with that, unfortunately. Love this leather wrapped steering wheel. I think it's still one of my favorite steering wheels right now. It's a little big, but it's really nice on the grip points. It is heated on these portions only, not on the top and bottom, which is one little gripe, but otherwise I love the steering wheel. Buttons are really simple and easy to use as well. And you have your lane keep assist and radar cruise control, which honestly is not my favorite, but it is there if you want to use it. Turn stalks, paddle shifters, and everything. And Mazda's center display, I'm sure we've seen this before in my other reviews and videos, isn't very configurable. You have these kind of like 3 main screens, and that's pretty much it. So you do have that. It's a nice blend of analog and digital, but it's not a lot of tech in that aspect. You do have a full heads-up display over there, which I love the heads-up display. It's configurable. You can kind of move that around to different positions if you want. And I will complain about this because what I'm complaining about are the complaints about this. This is my favorite infotainment system right now, I think. It's so simple and easy to use. It has everything you need right at the touch of this little control wheel, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all that stuff. And it may not be wireless in this one, even though you can get that in the new CX-50, but it's quick, easy, and I think it's perfect in your line of sight. I have no complaints with this system whatsoever. Down here, we have our controls for our infotainment system. We have a auto hold for your brakes as well, right here. Electronic parking brake and your sport mode dial, and that's the really only drive mode. Listen to that switch right there. It feels so nice. That's really only like drive mode selector kind of function right there. Gear shifter wrapped in leather. It feels really solid. Love holding this just like while you're driving around. It's a nice feel to it. You do have a manual mode right here. 6-speed automatic gearbox. So yeah, we've gone over this interior a few times on a few different vehicles that I've had now, and I still love it. I still have some issues with the Mazda 3, like for the price you're getting, you don't have folding mirrors, and I kind of wish there may have been added a cooled seat option. I know you can get that on different Mazdas, but it'd be nice to kind of see them giving that in this 3, even though it's a slow selling model, but just a little bit of love before it eventually goes away, I'm sure. I do love Mazda's camera system finally. It's actually super high definition, and it's pretty fantastic. Rear cross traffic alert works great, especially with the massive C-pillars where you can't see anything out back. You have these side view cameras as well. And you can access them really whenever you want, and they can also prompt up when you start the vehicle as well, which I think is fantastic. Yeah, I want to take this on a drive because I think that's really one of the biggest aspects of the Turbo is the handling and how the whole chassis is set up. But yeah, great interior. I'm going to throw some B-roll in for you guys because I think this just looks so cool in here. But let's go on a drive after this. Okay guys, we are inside of the 2023 Mazda 3 Turbo Hatchback right here. And like I just showed you guys on the full tour, we had a really cool look on the interior and the exterior of this awesome hatchback right here. Awesome. So you can see we have our 360 cameras right there. Those always pop up when you turn the vehicle on. You can adjust them or see the different views right there, which is pretty easy. Some prompt from the infotainment system. And we do have Apple CarPlay as well, which I usually just throw on. It's pretty helpful. Now, 6-speed automatic gearbox, and we have our 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine under the hood. Now, I did put premium gas in today, finally. 93 octane, a little expensive with the prices right now, but it does definitely give you that 250 horsepower, 320 pound-feet of torque, and that's a lot in this tiny little hatchback. You do have all-wheel drive, no manual option. Now these tires are not my favorite. There's these Bridgestone tires. I just don't think they really give you the best grip out of this car, especially in terms of corners and everything, but it doesn't really hurt the ride. The ride in this car is actually fantastic, but we'll talk about that when we get on the drive. We'll get further onto our drive. Now, off the bat, you're going to notice it's really, really quiet in here, and that's because Mazda kind of like double sealed all of the openings, from the doors to the hood to the rear hatch. There's 2 different layers of seals going on there to make sure that you have a nice, quiet experience. And I think that's really fantastic. It really does give you a really quiet driving experience. Now, that also carries over to the highway. Higher speeds on the highway, it is so silent here. You don't really hear wind noise. Like I'm so used to hearing wind noise in some of these vehicles, and it's just so loud and obnoxious that like it's kind of like non-existent here, and I really do like that. It's busy up here today. Let's head out. Now, that's real engine noise you're hearing right now. I can pop into sport mode, and unfortunately Mazda does throw in a little bit of some fake engine noise to the speakers. I believe that's actually piped in from the under the hood, some intake sounds, and I really do love the sound of this engine. It has this really deep, throaty experience. It doesn't even sound like a 4-cylinder, honestly. It has this really unique sound. I do like it, and all the Mazda turbo engines offer that, and you can pretty much get them in any of their vehicles at this point, which is really, really cool. Now, big highlights with the driving experience versus the Mazda 3 Turbo, and just the Mazda 3 platform in general has really been one of my favorite vehicles to drive. Now, Mazda did cut costs. They cut a little cost by putting that torsion beam rear suspension setup up in the back, ditching the old multi-link setup. But I have to say, if you didn't know it was a torsion beam, you wouldn't be able to tell. Mazda engineered it and tuned it really, really well, so you don't really ever have to like notice that that's there and could be hampering the experience, which I don't think it does. Now, essentially, what a torsion beam is, there's a solid beam connecting the 2 wheels, and that kind of acts as a rear suspension setup versus having 2 independent multi-link setups back there. It's typically you find it on cheaper economy cars, but they did that to kind of give you the really nice luxury experience that you're getting with the rest of this vehicle. Now, the other big highlight of this, other than it actually handling pretty well, is this steering system is fantastic. It's one of the few steering systems on the market that will still give you really solid feedback to your hands, which I love, and you know where the front wheels are pointed at and what's happening with them all the time, and I really do love that. And this road is really fantastic. Now, I have heard that you can actually pop off traction control and then you turn it into sport mode. So you get more revs from the gearbox, shifts happen a little bit quicker, the car's a little bit more alert all the time. There's a hidden launch control mode when you operate this in sport mode with traction control off, and you pop it into manual mode, which we'll test out in a little bit. But the handling is generally really good. Now, brakes could be a little bit stronger. We'll just change this over to this view right here. And I don't know if you guys can see the heads-up display on camera, but it's really nice. Turn in is pretty good. Now, it does still feel very front-wheel drive, even though it does have an all-wheel drive system. But Mazda's technology and software really does distribute the power properly, and they have this thing called G vectoring control, which you don't ever notice and you're not supposed to notice. And it essentially, when you're coming in and out of corners, it will manage the brakes, the torque of the engine, and the power, and distribute it to all the wheels to kind of give you that tighter feeling in the corners and be able to kind of shoot you and rocket you out of the corners without you ever really feeling it. So it's really, really impressive, and I think it works well because this car does handle pretty nicely. Now, I do have to say, it's not like a crazy hot hatch. It's not like a GTI or a Type R or an Elantra N or any of those things. Like if you're going into this thinking that's what you're getting, you're not going to be happy, because that's not what this vehicle is. This vehicle, the Mazda 3 Turbo, especially with its Premium Plus package, is a luxurious, or I would say more premium, hatchback experience with that dash of sportiness there. So you have that power when you want it. You have a really well-balanced, very nicely tuned chassis and steering inputs, and suspension, shockingly, is actually very good, even though with that torsion beam. It's just a very refined, like, luxurious experience, and I think it's a very personal experience as well, because you can't really fit that many people in here. We have a really beautiful sunset tonight, and you just have that power when you need it, like I said, and it holds gears in sport mode really, really well. You can hear that right now. That's awesome. Love that they do that. And the paddle shifters work too. Brakes, I do wish could be a little bit stronger, but like I said, this is not a high performance vehicle. It's just a sporty, well refined, well tuned hatchback, and I think at this price point and for what you're getting, for what it is, it's really fantastic. I mean, I am honestly looking to get one of these right now. I do love it that much, because personally I don't want something so harsh and so hardcore. Like the ride, sure, it's a little stiffer than I think your average vehicle, but it's not back-breaking. The seats are very comfortable, bumps and everything is very well damped and tuned out, so you never really have to worry about that. So I think they really did manage all of that really, really well. Take a quick U-turn for you guys here. And just going around these twisty corners on this mountain road over here, it's just balanced. I think the best word is just balanced, smooth, and comfortable, while also having that performance-y edge to it, which I do like. They also have automatic headlights, which is a really nice luxury feature. automatic headlights, steering headlights as well, so they turn with the steering wheel, which is really cool. Full LED, which I love. And they're pretty bright at night. Yeah, I mean, there really isn't anything I have bad to say about this experience. Now, I won't lie, I'm a bit of a Mazda fanboy right now, and I do really like this vehicle, but other than the small space on the interior, which is, I think, is a big drawback for a lot of people, unfortunately, there's really nothing bad about this car. Everything just works well. The infotainment system's super easy to use, like while you're driving, even if you have to use it with the scroll wheel. And it may take, I don't know, a day of getting adjusted to it, but once you do, it just works so well. You never really want to go back to a touchscreen where you have to like fiddle with a whole bunch of different menus and stuff and kind of take your eyes off the road. This is right here. It's right in your line of sight, and that's why Mazda did it like this. I personally like it a lot. So yeah, guys, I'm just gonna wrap up this drive of the Mazda 3 Turbo Hatchback because I'm gonna go take it out and drive it a little bit more, because I'm just having such a good time with it. But thank you guys for joining me on this drive, and stay tuned for a lot more coming soon from Allcarnews. And let me know what you guys think in the captions and descriptions. What you think of the Mazda 3 Turbo Hatchback? Would you buy it? Would you think it's something for you? Or is it just not for your taste? Because it's not for everyone's taste, I could definitely tell you that.